So, the short version of the story is Brian Mansell's father collected Star Wars Lego for 30 years. Uh, Brian then took it to Bricks and Minifigs, a franchise in Eugene, Oregon, Salem, Oregon, to sell it on consignment. He still maintained ownership of it. The store would just give him 65% of the proceeds. Then the owners of the store, who I interviewed last night on my Lego stream, they were subject to a hostile takeover by corporate, and the Lego went missing. After about 18 months of trying to get it back, Reckless Ben, the YouTuber, got involved. He produced a video that came out about 3 weeks ago now, and then ever since then, Bricks and Minifig corporate has stuck their foot in their mouth, and it's been a giant disaster. To the point where they sent an email to all the franchisees, and they're like, just keep on keeping on. This will pass as long as like there's no new, sensational things that perpetuate it. No more fuel added to the fire. This will go away. And then they themselves continuously add fuel by doing live stream interviews, lying, hemming and hawing, filing lawsuits, RICO lawsuits, and just the worst PR campaign.
Yeah, I listened to EDB when she went into the RICO part of it. It's never RICO, folks.
So it's never RICO. We had Sean, potentially criminal, on a couple of days ago, and we were talking about it's never RICO. And then it dawned on Valhalla. I'm going to give him full credit for this. Is it possible that BAM is actually committing RICO? And they're accusing others of doing it, but is it possible that they're actually doing it? So Valhalla and I went into a deep dive into this. I believe it's very possible that BAM itself is actually violating federal RICO. Yeah. And then there's another YouTuber, BJC, something like that, I think is what her name is. She did the last couple of days did an extreme deep dive she's got like 10 hours of content doing a deep dive into the shady bunch that is the corporate entities behind Bricks and Minifig. So there's a lot of rabbit holes to go down, and this is just a giant disaster.
Yeah, it's one of these. I don't know really it's so much crap going on, and in the middle of everything, here's their dad saying, "My sons did this to me," and here's the thing: who taught them?
They sued their own father.
Yeah,
they sued their own father. So the background of Eamon and Matt McNeff, who are the CEO and the COO of BAM, is that their father started a company called Legally Mine, but it also went by Vail Corporation, and it also went by a bunch of other names. And it's essentially was a scam teaching people how to scam. It was like grifting for grifters while being grifted. Literally, that's what it was. It was like, we're going to sell you this package. And what you're going to be able to do with this package is that you're going to be able to scam people by having a bunch of LLCs and like hiding all of your assets and doing this sort of thing. But they do it in a way where it's legal advice. So that's the first problem. Unauthorized practice of law, which the Ohio Supreme Court fined them and sanctioned them for. And then it's the wrong legal advice, because a lot of what they're saying isn't actually true or proper legal advice. And then there's two RICO claims against them, filed, one in Missouri and one in Michigan, claiming that they're committing RICO by people who signed up for these programs and were in fact scammed. So they're scamming people by teaching people how to scam, but then teaching them the wrong way, and then unlawful practice of law. And then while all of that's going on, that company was supposed to be investing in Brick and Minifig corporate after the COO and the CEO became, owners. And then they sued their dad and their dad's company for a breach of that investment somehow. And it's just all kinds of nonsense. But what they're teaching people to do is, like, if you form a bunch of different little LLCs and then you something happens with one of them, then you'd be like, oh, it's not my problem, the shell company, it's this little LLC, which is fine to some extent. It's not legal advice, but the way they're telling people to do it is not right. That's exactly how Bam treated Brian with the Lego, because Brian would go to the franchise store and say, hey, where's my Lego? And they're like, oh, you got to talk to corporate. And they go to corporate, and corporate's like, no, you got to talk to the franchise. It's the same sort of game.
Doesn't this sound like the foundation to make money for corporate is the influx of Lego where the owners then don't get paid for? Doesn't that sound like a Ponzi scheme?
People have equated it to a Ponzi scheme, but it's more like a multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
So essentially, so this is how Brick and Minifig corporate works. They sell you a franchise, and they say, we have almost exclusive control over how you look, what you do, what you sell, what you can sell, your operating hours, and all of that stuff. But you, as the franchise, have total liability for employees, for taxes, for leases, for buying the product, for everything else. Then, so that way they shield themselves. Remember, legally mine, the whole mindset. That way the corporate shields itself from potential liability. So they think it doesn't actually apply under Oregon or Utah law, because we looked into it. But they think it does. And then if they burden these franchisees with so much debt, it's essentially seller financing. We'll sell you this package, but you pay us in installments plus interest and all kinds of stuff. And then if the franchise fails, then they just swoop in, take it, and then sell it to somebody else and leave the franchisees penniless. So it's kind of a scam, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like a scam. So if the franchise happens to succeed, they also, Bam corporate gets to pick the location. So if it's a crappy location, you don't get a say. And so if it fails, you have a 100% of the liability as the franchisee owner, and corporate could just take in and swoop up and take the store and take the product and whatever, and then, sell it to somebody else, operate it, shut it down, whatever they want to do. So there's no liability on their end. And yet the franchisees could be out their entire life savings. And there's there's 3 people that have come forward and said that this has happened to them and this is their MO. So the question is, also, there's a whole thing about U-Haul trucks showing up to these stores that were recently taken over by corporate, and they throw in all the inventory and then transport them to other stores, maybe in different states. And all of this sounds like a criminal enterprise, maybe.
Yeah,
that's happened at least twice and involves activities across various state lines. Is that RICO? It kind of might be. So that's where we are. That's the situation. And now I'm stuck because I have Hey Hey here. Hey Hey is my only set that I've gotten from a Brick and Minifig store. And I'm raffling him off on the 20th. So if you guys do want a chance at this, just email me at Michigan Law Now and you get entered into the raffle. But the reason why I'm auctioning them off is I said, I don't want to support Brick and Minifig. I don't want to go to the local franchisee, even though they have nothing to do with it, because 6% of their proceeds go to corporate, and I don't want to support corporate in any way. But what if these franchisee owners are actually victims of a scheme? Do we want to support them? I kind of want to. Like it's if you reframe it as they're not part of the problem, they're actually victims.
It sounds like a class action lawsuit in the making.
Well, definitely that. I mean, if I was a franchisee owner, I'd be talking to. There's 3 in my local area. I'd definitely be talking with each other and maybe talking to a lawyer. But I kind of look at it as maybe they're the victims, and I'm going to treat them more as victims rather than not co-defendants, but collaborators. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are now. There's hearings coming up. There's temporary restraining orders with prior restraint. Reckless ban he's court ordered to take down his videos and not produce any future videos. There hasn't even been a hearing there hasn't been an adjudication at all to determine whether or not what he said was defamation. There's all kinds of craziness with this case. There's Mormons involved. There's nothing wrong with Mormons, but the implication is because it's a small Mormon community that there might have been, I think it's more small town politics, kind of what we saw in Canton, Massachusetts, than a Mormon thing. But the story just goes. There's so many rabbit holes you can go down. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's evolving. And now, and in the middle of this, you have Reckless Ben. Get a fucking lawyer.
Okay. This hearing was set. So he has a lawyer for the civil case. I know I assume he does, because last Friday, during a live stream that the COO was being interviewed, 2 weeks ago Friday, actually, Reckless Ben jumped into the chat while the COO was on the live stream being interviewed. And he said, Reckless Ben is here. He's in violation of the TRO that was just issued. And his attorney got it. She should have told him about it. And if he is here, then they and his attorney are both in violation of this TRO. And he went off and da-da-da-da-da. And then, it's just basically coping and seething. But he referenced an attorney. So I believe he has an attorney at the civil case. But he doesn't have an attorney, at least as of June 8th, in the criminal case, which is a video that was just dropped today, actually, which is an audio of the hearing. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not going to get an attorney. It's just an arraignment and setting up future dates. But he should definitely be getting an attorney. And if there was any way that I could represent him in Utah, I would. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. Yeah. But I'm happy to coordinate.
And the only attorney I know in Utah, well, I know more than one, but the only one that came to my mind has now a new job.
Yeah, I heard. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because she would have loved this case.
Do you want to listen to his pre-trial? I mean, there's really nothing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I need to get myself up to speed. All I've been doing more or less is telling Bricks and Licks and Miniature whatever's that you guys are C words, and
so this is really it's only 2.5 minutes. It's nothing special. It's just a pretrial, but you can this is one of the criminal cases. In fact, it's this case number right here.
Yay.
All right, do you have Benjamin Schneider online?
Can you guys hear it all right?
Yes, sorry for the last time you called. I think I hit the wrong button and accidentally got in a private meeting with the prosecutor, but I'm here now.
Oh, that's fine. All right, we're here on case 261 ending 376, scheduled for a pretrial today. And are you representing yourself on this case, Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had a chance to speak with the prosecutor then?
Don't do it, man.
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Telford?
We need to continue with time for review video footage.
Do you need time to do video footage?
Yes, there's the defendant.
There is hours of video footage. Nick, I sent you a link with all the raw video and several parts of Reckless Ben's videos. There are hours of videos for this simple like stalking or trespass charge or whatever. I don't know which one this one particularly is, but there's hours of video footage. We should actually maybe watch some of that too.
Claims that he gave video footage to officers, and so I could look at that.
Okay. Does that work for you, Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Okay. David.
I can do. Are you going to have that command?
Where do you live, Mr. Schneider?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
July 6th at 11.
July 6th, 11 o'clock in the morning. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that's Utah time, right?
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I just love the way he answers it. Yes. He's very polite, but he's got a certain personality. Actually, I remembered I had to remove the videos from my Dropbox because it was eating up too much space, and I put it on a hard drive. So I don't have the raw videos in that link I sent you. But there are the redacted videos in that link I sent.
Then, have you done your fingerprints yet?
When I went to, I got arrested and did a fingerprint there. I don't know if that transfers over, but I've not done a fingerprint for this specific case. No.
Okay, yeah, the fingerprints are linked to the case, so you need to go to your local police department, get a fingerprint card, and mail that into the court, okay?
Okay.
And can you get that done by the next court hearing?
Okay.
All right, that'll be the order then. Any
At least he knows
questions
not
for
to
me,
say
Mr.
much.
Schneider?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, we'll see you on July 6th.
Okay. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I've seen reports of him more or less talking to the prosecutor voluntarily.
Well, yeah, he did. I mean, he had a conversation with the prosecutor. So this is a pretrial, and generally at the pretrial, it's an opportunity for the defense and the prosecution to talk to see if there's any discovery issues, to see if there's a plea agreement, things like that. And then they report back to the court and say, all right, judge, we need more time for this or that. We've discussed pleas, but nothing's been entered, or, we haven't agreed to anything. That's normally what happens. But normally you have an attorney with you when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And the problem for Ben is that he doesn't have an attorney. So he's the one that's actually speaking to the prosecutor. And he also does things like this. This is after he was served with the TRO, where...
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
No.
Oh, no.
So, well, he gets a few things wrong, right? The TRO says don't defame Bam.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't talk about it. But even if it does, by saying the company I can't talk about doesn't really get you there because everyone knows you.
Now, which is different between the thing with the
name that should not be mentioned.
The former attorney, whose name I can't say. This is different.
Well, yeah, because it's YouTube rules versus court law.
Yeah.
Court orders.
Yeah, because YouTube ignores Florida rules, regulations, and statute, and the Swedish Free Press Doctrine.
So Gigi says that Ben really is smarter than he acts. He is. I told Crystal and Benjamin yesterday that out of everybody involved with the story, Reckless Ben is the smartest man in the room. He really is.
I mean, the bar isn't set high here.
No, it's not. But he is definitely smarter than people are giving him credit.
Yeah. But you don't get this amount of coverage, subscribers in his specific area without being smart about it.
Right. So he was finally served with the TRO.
So we should be we should act stupid, Dave.
We should act less intelligent. Well, I feel like I do sometimes.
No, that's just you.
It's not an act. I get it.
Is finally finished after crazy all-nighters.
By the way, so he's released part 1 and part 2, and he's been teasing part 3 for a while, and so that's what he says. Part 3 is finally finished,
and basically destroying my health. But I can't post it, or I will go to jail. And not only that, I will also immediately lose my lawsuit of $300,000, and the GoFundMe we made for Brian will go straight to this mystery company that I am no longer allowed to talk about.
That's the other thing too. So in their lawsuit where they allege RICO, they want the now up to $500,000 that's been raised by GoFundMe by people like you and me.
Yeah.
Bam wants that. That money's been raised to make Brian and his family whole again, and BAM wants that. They're suing Brian too, not just Reckless Ben. Brian, the original Lego holder, owner.
And I mean, that's a really high bar.
It is,
because then they have to allege that the fundraiser was in furtherance of the criminal conspiracy,
or the goal of the criminal conspiracy, right?
Or the goal of the criminal conspiracy, which I have a hard time seeing through the language in the fundraiser and the reasons people gave. I have a hard time seeing, even if they somehow are successful to survive an anti-slap, I don't see that happening.
I don't see BAM coming out of this situation in any way, shape, or form. Even if they win the lawsuit, their company is gone. Especially if they win the lawsuit. That's kind of my thought.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the longer they are going, because the firm they have hired is royally expensive.
Yeah, it's like one of the largest law firms in the country. And they're not messing around, and they're not like chimping out on the work either. That complaint I sent you, this one here, it's 95 pages long. It's 95 pages, this complaint, if you want to read 95
pages. And even if, I mean, they have clerks who charge $500 an hour, and then you have the first year associates that charge $750 an hour, and then just for the signature alone by a partner is 10 grand.
So this isn't even like, this isn't the complaint with exhibits. This is just the complaint.
Yeah.
Is 95 pages long. It's insane. So they didn't skip out on that.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you this. Can you see a difference in these filings if it is an attorney on retainer, or if it is an attorney who expects to get paid by the proceeds?
I would say you can tell the difference between an attorney who has not been paid or doesn't expect very much, versus one who has been paid a lot or expects a lot. You can tell that. So,
is this one of these that they have already been paid?
Yes, they have already retained a sizable retainer, and they used up most of it with this complaint alone. I have a case right now. It's a complex, extremely complex commercial case, and the complaint is 3 pages. Like what? What is this? I expected to get like at least
pages
2
with
dozen pages.
The people involved. My guess is when it's time for a reply, because now Ben and his attorney, if he has one, will reply to that, which is a number of pages, and when they have to then write back, we can be at the stage of you need to retain a new one.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but suppose I can't imagine that there's not a Utah attorney that's willing to represent Reckless Ben in his criminal matters or the civil matters, at least somewhat with a reduced rate, if not pro bono. Right? Like I'd be willing to do that, and I know there's a ton of people out there that'd be willing to do that. He should be getting counsel on the criminal case. Now he claims to not have money. In one of his earlier videos, he's like, all of my videos have been demonetized. I don't have money. I basically just sort of like live hand to mouth. If that's the case, then he would qualify for public defender. But I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think he does actually have.
Yeah, I mean,
he's fairly
demonetized is one thing. Being then you have the limited, and still, even with limited at 5, I mean, a combined 20 million views is easily 100 grand.
Well, plus also he has his Patreon, which the Patreon CEO. Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's not buying it at all.
Yeah. So that's still up and running, and
Yeah.
presumably he's got a lot of members on there, because I subscribed because I wanted to see part 2 immediately,
Yeah.
and then I kept my subscription because I want to see part 3, which he drops on his Patreon first.
Yeah. And I guess the moment he said it was demonetized, here's 5,000 more on Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to imagine he has some money. Now, how much money he has, I don't know. But he may qualify for public defender. If not, he'd be definitely able to get a pro bono or a reduced rate attorney, just given the profile of this case and the fact that whether or not he is legally in the right, he is definitely morally in the right. Right? Or at least that's that's the
everybody
online
wants
consensus.
Yeah, everybody wants Reckless Ben to come out the hero of this, and hopefully not broke. And before we go, thank you to Deborah. Thank you to Jen the Couch Fairy for buying me a coffee. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It will help because I suspect that the person who can't be named, who I covered on the first part of this stream, will go after this stream, because that's what she does.
Now, if that happens, do you get to keep your super chats, or should we cash app you, or buy you a coffee or whatever it is?
I don't know.
I'm just curious. I've been out of the YouTube. I used to know all these things. I'm like, if it's this type of thing, then you still get your super chats. If it's that type of thing, then you don't get your super chat. I don't know anymore.
I have no idea. But generally, I get a bigger portion if you use PayPal or buy me a coffee.
So I want to, if I may, promote another channel on your stream.
Yeah, sure. Go.
So Valhalla and I have been talking with this woman. Well, actually, I just pulled it up with Valhalla's chat was pulled up. So this is BJC, and she's done a deep dive. She did a couple of long streams today and yesterday, a couple of deep dives into this. I don't remember. I didn't timestamp this. I just kind of wanted to show you a clip of it because she's going over the corporate structure of these shell companies that are all involved with BAM corporate, or at least the owners. Where does she have it? Okay. So she has this spreadsheet. So this up here is Bricks and Minifigs. And then this guy here, this is Joshua Johnson. He was actually working as a promoter for This Is Legally Mine. This is the CEO's father here. And so she's got this whole like sort of connection thing, and it's really interesting.
That's the type of spreadsheet we do when I'm involved with mergers. And I hate mergers. It's a clusterfuck when a German CEO, an American CEO, and the Swedish CEO, and everybody says, let's see here which is the least beneficial to the union.
Yeah. I mean, this is an extensive flowchart.
Or maybe it was last night. I wasn't able to, for sure, with the public record, link Joshua Johnson with Legally Mine. I mean, he's pretty close, nebulously at least. You know, there's Ammon, there's Matt. He worked for Legally Mine. Ammon worked for Legally Mine. He was the president at one point. Daniel worked for Legally Mine. But then I was able to find some support in the public record. He did, in fact and indeed, work for Legally Mine as a what was it? Executive event, whatever it was. Director, planner, whatever. Basically putting together, what it looked like to me was these summits. All right. So
these summits are where they would teach people basically how to hide their assets and all this stuff. You know, earn your money, and then we'll teach you how to keep your money, kind of thing. Shield it from lawsuits.
To some more of the hats.
Yeah.
That Joshua is wearing. So
Joshua is the one that took over the franchise. Originally as an employee of corporate. He came in, him and his partner Brandon came in and did inventory and moved a bunch of stuff out and ran the business. He says in one of the body cam videos with the police that he ran the business for corporate for 4 months before corporate offered him the store as a as a franchisee owner, and then so him and Brandon joined in and bought that store, and then operated it for like another 7-8 months until it was shut down. They claim as a result of reckless Ben's harassment, or was it just a plan to avoid the judgment that they thought Reckless Ben had against them? Now, it ended up that Reckless Ben didn't get a judgment against them, but maybe they were nervous about it. So anyway, she does a deep dive into this. And if you really want to go down way too deep for anything that I have time for, but if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, there's so many of them, as you could just see with the spreadsheet. But if you want to read the complaint, I did send you the complaint itself.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
And it's just there's just so much to go over with this case. She did 4.5, 5 hours just on Joshua's connection with all the other parties. And then yesterday she did a deep dive into what exactly is Legally Mine, what they do. She found some old PowerPoint presentations. She found some old videos of one of their presentations. And it's just so much to go over. I'm more focusing on the whole Reckless Ben Brian Lego end of things, and she's going deep diving into the scam of it all.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of options in here to cover, and I haven't yet decided which one I should do a deep dive into. But I do. I mean, usually I do the documents readings, or I do the streams where I call everybody shitheads and cunts.
Well, the factual statements are interesting, but they're long. So, but they are interesting. They walk through, like, okay, so for example, this kind of BS. This is, so one of the arguments, one of the complaints of harassment and stalking was that Ben was making like
bomb threats.
Yeah.
Well, it's an effect in a video. It's hyperbole. It's so stupid.
Yeah. So this is literally an effect. It's a mimicked explosion. But if in context, this is Bam causing the explosion of their own argument.
Yeah.
Like that's the metaphor that's being portrayed here. And they're saying things like, in this video at 12 minutes, 42 seconds in, you guys can either do it the easy way or the hard way. I guess you guys want to do it the hard way. And then there's an explosion, implying a threat of violence, an explosion to take place at Brick and Minifigs corporate. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, we went over this with Sean, and Sean's like, I couldn't even I could not draft this as an attorney. Like, I would have such a hard time drafting that as an attorney, because
that's the difference between people at our level and people at that enormous firm level. Oh, we need to get 95 pages so we can charge them $100,000.
Yeah.
And then you get these type of shit because they don't care if you win or lose.
Yeah. No, there are attorneys that will put whatever you want in the filings. I feel like I have an ethical obligation to not throw out crap that is not credible.
Yeah.
Or at least frame it better. I mean, this is just nonsense. Oh, by the way, this is the gentleman with the beard is Sheldon, and he's going to be joining us on Tuesday for a Lego stream. He got his phone stolen by the American Fork Police. So it's a really interesting complaint. If you want to go through it all, I could pull mine down. One of the things, the biggest criticism that I will give, or that I will go after Reckless Ben for, or whatever, criticize him for, is that in part 2, he claimed that the police dislocated his shoulder, and he showed an image of an x-ray of a dislocated shoulder, and it wasn't his shoulder. It was a stock photo. It was a stock photo, but he said, I just assumed everyone would know that it was a stock photo. Now, Valhalla and I are split on this. Valhalla's like, well, of course it was a stock photo. And I was like, no, he wanted us to think that was really his. So,
and it really, in the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is, what does the judge believe?
Well, so the question is like, all right, so that was,
But Ben is very good at playing stupid.
yeah, he is.
And that could be a good thing in this case.
It could be. Actually, I think Ben's going to come out winning this, and at the end of the day, Bam is going to lose. The question is how long is it going to take? Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take 2 years? It's definitely not going to be over with next week, which is or the 22nd in 10 days when we're supposed to have a hearing.
And the amount of people who are writing to Lego, the
Lego
multi tens of billion corporation Lego, and say, are you actually in favor of them using your stuff like this? And now here's the thing with once a company reaches the level of Lego, tens of billions, if not more, in revenue, this is just a nuisance. It has to cost them money for them to care.
So
and they generally don't care at all about the second-hand market.
If Bricks and Minifigs would have taken a page from Lego's playbook and said and done nothing, they would be so much better off than they are now. Lego's doing the right thing, saying it doesn't involve us, stay out of it, or we're going to stay out of it.
We claim 100 grand, you claim 200 grand, here's 150, go away.
Yeah. So the relationship between Bricks and Minifigs and Lego has been oversold by the CEO. He said that it was like they had a special arrangement, that it was an authorized dealer.
No,
it's no more of an authorized dealer than Walmart or Target. They buy their stuff from a wholesaler who works with Lego. They don't have a direct relationship with Lego.
No. Lego, see, okay, there's... I mean, if I remember correctly, Bricks and Minifigs has a grand total revenue of 85 million.
Profit. Their revenue is somewhere... What I've heard, their profit is somewhere around... I'm sorry, the revenue is somewhere around 400,000. Their profit was like 89,000 or 89 million. I mean, something like that.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but that's what I heard.
I thought it was the revenue. Okay, whatever it is, it's barely it's a rounding error.
Yeah,
in the big Lego corporation,
it is. Well, and you know what? Those numbers might be old too, because between 2023 and 2025. They were aggressively expanding. And see, that's the thing. BAM Corporate is not in the Lego selling business. BAM Corporate is in the franchise selling business, right? And so they get all of their money from their franchise owners, and they're basically a giant bank that self-finances these franchises, and they keep getting money in on these monthly installment payments. They own and operate maybe a half a dozen so of stores where they're actually selling Lego. Otherwise, the vast majority of their profit is from the franchise owners.
Yeah, and have you seen because there's been a lot of more. Oh, look at they are not making profits. They are basically broke, folks. Companies don't like profits because profits mean taxes.
Yep.
If they find a way to generate losses somewhere, they will put it in the spreadsheet to avoid paying taxes. Just because they on the spreadsheet doesn't make money, doesn't mean they don't make money.
Disclosures show system-wide revenue of around 110 million. I don't know what disclosures that would be because they're not a publicly traded company. So I think people are really guessing at that number. I think they might have made a statement to their franchisees at one point, because they have this weird cultish get together every year. And I think they made a statement last year about what their numbers were, and that's what the information is being reported.
Yeah, okay. So Lego Group generates over 12 billion in annual revenue in full year earnings. The privately held company, not on the stock market, reported a record revenue about 12.9. Yeah, reported.
Oh, FCC filings. Okay, so maybe they did for that. Maybe it has because they're a franchise company.
No,
they
this
have
is
to
the
report.
Lego group. Lego
No,
group.
no, no. I'm looking at your chat. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, because okay, that makes sense. Because they're a franchising company, then they have to report their stuff to the FCC. That's why they would have to report it. So okay,
okay.
we're
Yeah,
just
but
talking about them.
and the Lego group reporting $12.9 billion. Reporting.
Yeah, reporting that. Yeah, it's a big number.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from me, Lego. You can sponsor me anytime you want.
But now, say you were to what would it take for you to be practicing law in Utah?
I know. I kind of looked at it. I could do Pro Hoc Vice. I would need a sponsor, but I could do it. The problem has always been with me practicing out of state. I don't feel like I'd be comfortable enough to not commit malpractice because I don't know their rules. I don't know their laws. Like, I don't mind. I'll look up the Utah code and some cases, and I'll talk about it on YouTube. But to actually represent somebody, like, no, I'm not that gutsy. I'm just not. And I'd have to somehow get my insurance coverage to cover it.
Okay.
I could make it work maybe, but I really want to though. If I was somehow, bam, come to Michigan, get sued here, I'd represent you. Or not,
and that's also something that the general population don't realize. We need insurance for what we do.
We do.
And they kind of tell us what we can and can't do.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's definitely a thing. Like, if you start practicing outside of your insurance, not only would you not be covered, you might lose your policy.
Yeah. So you have to check with your insurer first. Yeah, I'm thinking of going to Utah to this case. And if they say, oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like,
so you have no experience in there. You're not going to be admitted to the bar. Yeah. The premiums, I think, would be a bit higher. Just a
a tad higher. Yeah. Now, of course, I'm salaried. The union takes care of those things. But I've had been able to ask. Okay, they have asked me to consult if it is a different area, but it is because I have had one of the larger cases regarding layoffs in the past 20 years. So I do get asked to consult, but it's hard to get me to consult outside of my trade agreement.
Yeah.
Because not only does the union I'm contracted to has to agree to it, our insurer has to agree to it as well.
Yeah, the insurance plays a big role, and it's just because people are so litigious. And you really, I mean, unlike what Legally Mind is, selling people, the snake oil that they're selling people, insurance is a really good way to sort of protect your assets, right?
Yeah.
Get a
and
good
maybe that is how
policy
and maybe that is how Brick and Mini Slags have this, because it's through their insurance company.
Well, so they're the plaintiffs, and generally their insurance company won't cover plaintiffs' work.
Yeah.
I mean, it could to some degree if it's considered a loss, maybe under an umbrella policy. I don't know. I mean, I guess in theory you could have a policy that covers it, but generally speaking, insurance companies only defend you; they don't prosecute cases for you.
Yeah, but then again, Amber Heard got most of her things covered, but that's also the aftermath of that. If I remember correctly, her insurance company denied her claim. Because she's basically up for $500,000.
Because the court ultimately determined that her actions were intentional, and therefore they weren't accidental, and the insurance company didn't cover it. If you go
be very sure you are the actual victim.
If you go through the complaint, starting on page 58 is where the first cause of action is, and that they come out of the gate with RICO, which I find is an odd scenario.
It's stupid.
theft by deception, theft by extortion. They're trying to claim that by reckless Ben saying, hey, you can give the Lego back or we'll sue you, that's extortion. That's never extortion. What you guys did, what BAM did by saying, oh, make us an apology video, write a written apology, take down all the negative reviews, post extra positive reviews, and then we'll give you your Lego back.
So they are
That is
suing
extortion.
Ben and Brian because other people are giving them bad reviews. I mean,
No.
No!
So Brian did have some negative reviews he posted. So they
Okay.
wanted Brian to take down his own negative reviews
Okay,
and then
his
post
own,
positive
yeah.
reviews. But the thing is that is extortion. So just the irony or the hand mirror waving in this case is ridiculous, because they say they accuse others of doing that of which they are doing by their own statements. It's not even like conjecture. We heard the recording. Josh doesn't deny the recording. We know exactly what he said. And what he said, in my opinion, under what I've looked at in Oregon law, amounts to, because it took place in Oregon, amounts to extortion.
Yeah, and also suing for removal of negative reviews is an infraction of the First Amendment.
Well, it is. And that's sort of the extortion. Like, so if you are being compelled with threats to give up a right that you have or to do something extra that you don't have to do, that is extortion. And I mean that's like the basic definition of extortion.
You should have it as we have here in Sweden. Companies can't be defamed.
Why? Well, because companies aren't persons in Sweden.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a physical person.
So we were built on the Dutch system. Our economy is built completely around the Dutch system.
The tulips. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, but New Amsterdam was founded by the Dutch, and our whole economy is built like that. And it was about pooling resources and businesses and things like that. And so we go back, 400 years to this idea that you can actually interfere with the business relationship, and that's a cause of action and things like that. And that's all comes from like Dutch common law. So we have that integrated. And then in like the 19 teens or something like that, or 1920, I can't remember exactly what it was. The Supreme Court basically said that businesses are individuals for the purposes of the U.S. code and state codes. So they can be held criminally responsible, but you can also defame them and that sort of thing.
Now we have our version of tortious interference and stuff like that, but you can't defame, as in defamation is for private citizens alone.
Okay.
And that is also a criminal offense in Sweden.
So communications fraud. So they allege communications fraud. By the way, all of these things that they're alleging, except for the extortion one, which there was no extortion, at least not that we saw. There was extortion by BAM, but not reckless Ben. But all these things are civil. So like communications fraud by publishing false statements and referring to we steal from old people as a criminal enterprise, publishing posters and stuff like that, essentially defaming BAM. That was communications fraud, and that's not a crime. It's just a civil cause of action. You need an actual criminal thing. So they say criminal simulation, buying among other things, creating, distributing, and honoring fake and unauthorized raffle tickets. But it wasn't fake. If you guys watch the video, it wasn't a fake raffle. It was a legitimate legal raffle that was legally registered in the state of Oregon. So to say that it was fake and unauthorized, that simply is a falsehood. That right there, that is a hard thing to get around as an attorney, right? If I'm asked to draft this, I'm like, it appears that it's legitimate. So we're going to make the argument that it's fake and unauthorized. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to prove this, man. And I don't think they're going to be able to prove these kind of things.
Yeah, in the raffle, to my knowledge, they actually did pay out something.
They did. So Reckless Ben ended up paying $1,000 to the winner, which was the cost of the Lego set, and then they went in and bought it because what they were trying to do is set up the Brick and Minifig store to commit a crime by violating the gambling laws.
And I have never ever heard of anybody claiming a false crowning in a lawsuit.
A false what?
Crowning. No, what was it? The allegation that you're now the queen of Lego or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, false crowning.
I don't think that is actually a crime.
It's not a crime. It's none of these things are crimes. First of all, if they allege a crime, they're not going to be able to prove it by looking at the stuff that I've looked at. And the other stuff isn't a crime. So they go back to the whole we steal from old people. They do not like we steal from oldpeople.com. They do not like that. But again, that is First Amendment protected speech, right?
Yeah.
And I think an anti-slap motion needs to come real quick.
Yeah. And I mean, there are, if I remember from EDB's Emily D. Baker's stream, there are some issues that may have merit, but the vast majority of this lawsuit is just garbage.
I mean, if you really wanted to stick it to them and you wanted to separate out the acts into their own little categories, you can make an argument that Reckless Ben is liable on certain things. But you have to take the cause of action in the totality of the circumstances, incorporating all of the facts. And I think when you do that, then there's a very high probability that Reckless Ben wins.
Yeah, and get this in front of a jury.
Oh yeah,
and the jury hears the surrounding facts of the case. No. I don't see a jury saying, "Yeah, brick and shit cunts. Let's give you money." No, not going to happen.
Well, the problem is that they need to walk a fine line because they need to get to the jury, right? And you know, BAM is going to file a motion for summary judgment and say, "Judge, look at all these facts. We don't even need to have a jury trial. You can just rule as a matter of law." So you need to stay alive past that. That's the biggest thing. So there is a lot of things that need to be done.
Unless they get anti-slap together, which removes a vast majority of these allegations. Then all of a sudden, if they also can separate Brian from Ben, but I think that's more brick and mortars who wants to separate the cases.
So it's funny.
Because
do you think it's more Reckless Ben that wants to? You said
no. I think it's Bricks and Minifigs who.
Oh, they want to settle with Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with that,
then you don't have the conspiracy anymore.
Well, you can have
by the way, I looked that up on Utah RICO. The amount of people involved in this criminal conspiracy. Do you know how many people is?
Utah? I don't know. I think it's 3. You said, right?
As I was wrong, they don't have a determined number.
Well, under federal
1.
Yeah, under federal, it's literally a sole proprietorship would qualify as an enterprise. It just has to be a business.
If the same person is in the control of 2 different enterprises who are then colluding with each other to perform something. But in my mind, that speaks more to Brick and Minifig being that type of.
Well, they're definitely an entity, and they're definitely violating some laws. The question is does it amount to? I know
Yeah.
they're not definitely. I don't want to say that they're not definitely violating some laws. It appears that they might be violating some laws, and if so, because they're an enterprise, and because if what they're doing does in fact constitute a violation of
the
laws, then they,
entities within the enterprise. So it could be one company and two people within that company. That in itself can be a ground for RICO.
yeah. And what we're talking about is like the corporate takeover of the franchises. They seem to have an MO where they manufacture debt for the franchisees. They swoop in, they take the inventory. They don't give the franchisees the money for the inventory that the franchisee owns. And they just sort of take it and then they load it into a U-Haul truck and take it somewhere else and redistribute it. That sort of stuff. If that is actually a crime, which I think it might be, then they have an MO and they have they've done it at least 3 times or twice, at least that I'm aware of. I think 3 times too. There's a Cincinnati store that I think that happened to as well. Cincinnati, somewhere in Ohio. And that kind of seems to be like a pattern, right? Which is the part of RICO as well.
Yeah, and the Briggs and Minifigs, they operate in more than one state, right?
Oh yeah, there's 300 stores all over the country. I don't know if they're just maybe
so
they're not.
then you have the cross-state boundaries, which might get it to a federal RICO.
But that's what we were saying.
Yeah,
federal RICO. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do if the authorities got involved and did some deep diving, and I have to imagine somebody at some agency is looking into this. I can't. They look into every time somebody hiccups, they do a deep dive into something. They have to be looking into this, and every time they do, they're gonna find some stuff. Like Valhalla was saying in chat, they're part of Legally Mine too, and we talked about that with I showed the little clip of that other YouTuber going in the deep dive. There's some stuff going on, and I think they brought a lot of unwanted attention to their business practices.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an interesting case to read into and get the. Thank you for the documents. Now I have something to do.
Yeah. I'll send you the unredacted police video too.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun. I can do some reaction videos and stuff.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll show you the site that that hosts them, because so the story behind that is that American Fork Police accidentally dropped the unredacted police and body cam videos, and they accidentally dropped it, and then when they did, the Internet Archive grabbed them all. And so this is the Internet Archive, and they have all of the redacted videos. So you can just click on one, and then you can download it down here. So I've downloaded them all.
Nice.
Yeah, but so this one's probably. So this is all the unredacted videos here. So this is the first one, I think, where they pull over Tyler in the car. Yeah, for running the stop sign.
What's up, my man?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name's Officer Richardson with American Fork Police. The reason I stopped you is the stop sign. You didn't come to a complete stop at it.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. Do you have a driver's license on you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so there's just hours and hours and hours of these videos.
Okay. But did he come to a complete stop?
He did come to a complete stop. The question is did he stop at the stop bar, which is you're supposed to stop before the stop sign and then proceed.
They was
stop past it.
Yeah, okay. So this is
so this is
there's a specific name for it when they are actively looking for a reason to stop you because they have alternative motives.
Yeah, ulterior motives doesn't mean that the stop's unjustified if they still had justification for the stop. So this is actually that video here. So he turns. He's in front of the truck. He's got to get past the truck. So that's the car there that Tyler and Reckless Ben and them are in. And so they're going to come up to the stop sign here in a little bit. And so what the officer actually, well, the officer says you ran the stop sign or you didn't come to a complete stop. And then later is, see, here it is now. See, he comes to a complete stop. But see, he's past the stop sign. So
I'm not. Yeah, he's past the stop sign, but you have the markers on the road.
There is no marker on the road.
There's no marker on the road. Okay.
Yeah. See, but he is past the stop sign.
Yeah.
And so what the commander said, or the chief of police said, is that that was an infraction because he stopped past the stop sign, past the stop bar, even though there's no painted strip. They still refer to it as the stop bar. Whether or not this is justified in Utah, I don't know. I can tell you that in Michigan, the courts would probably declare this a justified stop, a traffic violation, because you're technically supposed to stop behind the stop sign. And then if you need to see, you can scooch up, but you got to come to a stop behind the stop. It's stupid, but that's what their justification is. But he definitely didn't. He did come to a complete stop. You can see it right there.
J42 traffic.
But then if we go to this,
What's up, my man?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name's Officer Richardson with Merrick Police. The reason I stopped you is the stop sign. You didn't come to quickly stop at it.
I didn't?
No.
that's a lie, because he absolutely did come to a complete stop, right?
Yeah.
You can justify
it's
it
not that he
later.
didn't come to a complete stop. It's where he did come to a complete stop.
But this officer doesn't say that. He didn't say, hey, you crossed the stop bar before you came to a complete stop.
It's in with Merrick Police. The reason I stopped you is the stop sign. You didn't come to quickly stop at it.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. Do you have a driver's license on you?
Yeah, I do.
Appreciate you.
So anyway, let me send you.
And
this.
also, he kind of, he didn't dispute it either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things, again, just, kids doing kid things and not really